Hey y'all. Okay, so I want to talk to you about, well, first of all, hold you right there. This is probably a 10 foot, let's see, 7, 8, 10 to 12 foot tree that was in the restaurant. The big white thing is, looks like an albino peacock, and the other white is, Santa. It's so pretty. Such a pretty tree. Anyway, it was in the restaurant. Excuse me, the restaurant last night. So pretty. Anyway, these are some common lies that I hear people say because they just don't understand. Okay. These are some common things that are said about narcissism. Well, most people have narcissistic tendencies. So, and it's on a spectrum. Narcissism is on a spectrum, but that is a lie that most people have narcissistic tendencies. Anybody who says that doesn't know shit about narcissism, okay? And I take that personally because don't sit here and tell me I have narcissistic tendencies. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I don't deceive people. I don't get off on hurting others. I am not detached from people. You know, I don't trick people. I don't manipulate them. I don't gaslight them. And those are all narcissistic tendencies. I'm not sneaky. Now, if I'm planning a surprise birthday party for you, I'm probably going to be sneaky because you don't need to know because it's a surprise. Okay, that's a surprise. But so far as my everyday persona, who I am, I'm not a sneaky person. And all of those traits that I mentioned are from narcissists. People who are empaths do not have narcissistic tendencies. That's why they're called an empath. And empathy can be a real problem because people see you as a sucker when you're kind and they feel like they could take full advantage of you and they feel like you don't have any boundaries and you'll say yes no matter how ridiculous their request is that they need from you. Okay, it could be ice and snow on the ground and they'll be like, I'm going to need you to take me, you know, to the restaurant. I really want to go. I'm craving it. And they maybe don't have a car or they don't want to drive, but they want you to drive. And they want to risk you hurting yourself or hurting, it's a dangerous, the roads are dangerous or whatever. They're not, it's not necessary for them to go to the restaurant now. And if you don't have, excuse me, if you don't have any boundaries, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I don't mind. What you should say is, have you looked out the window? Have you seen how bad the roads are? You know, if you don't have boundaries, you're going to be an easy target. Okay. Another BS line, which is a lie pertaining to narcissists, is it's a choice. They can change anytime they want to. No, they can't. They need professional help in order to change. First and foremost, they need the desire to change. First and foremost. If they don't have the desire to change, please, please, it's not going to happen. They have to be tired of their shit. They have to realize that other people are tired of their shit. And unless they want to die with zero friends, they're going to have to pull it together and do something. And it requires, in some cases, it requires medicine in addition to therapy. Someone who's well versed on narcissistic behavior. Okay, because not all therapists are familiar with NPD. They may know a little bit about it, but they may not, that may not be their area of expertise. So you have to do your research on that and find somebody who is equipped to handle that disorder. I think it's ludicrous that someone thinks they could just change from having a disorder, which is something wrong with your brain, something wrong with the way you think, something wrong with um, the damage in your brain. You've got to, narcissists have extensive brain damage, and you think they could just press on their belly button and that disappears? That's kind of absurd. It's like saying if you have chicken pox, you could just take a shower and wash it off. That ain't gonna work because it's within your system. It's a virus inside your system, inside your body. Okay, let's not be silly. All right, let's not be silly. And I've seen where this happens a lot and it pisses me off. Guys, the quickest way for a female narcissist to take advantage of a man is, first of all, I told you this before, they find and zero in on men who are givers. They can find them in a crowd of 1,000,000 people. They can pick the ones that are nice guys, that are soft-spirited. They're just generous. That's just who they are. They're not a stingy bastard like narcissists are. They actually are kind, warm, loving, honest with their emotions, a giver. And women will give you the best sex of your life. Your toes will be curled. You'll be speaking in Swahili. You didn't know you were multilingual, but you found out that you are. She's got you screaming in the bed. I mean, this is the weapon that female narcissists will use because it works. And some men think that, oh God, I want this legally. And so he marries her, and that's the biggest mistake he could ever make. Okay. Not only that, but it is quite common for, oh my God, female narcissists, excuse me, what the hell? Female narcissists to, after you've been married for a while or after she gets her kid, she'll put you on ice. It won't touch you again. You'll be celibate inside your own marriage. So sex is a weapon that female narcs will use because it works. Same reason why companies will use a curvy woman to show you how great this product is. It's subliminal mind screw. It's letting you know through no uncertain terms, you get this, you use this product and you'll have a woman just like her, the girl in the commercial with her super tight dress on and her curvy, they use that. You know why? Because it works. Subliminal messaging and that kind of thing. I just hear so many nonsensical things about narcissism. And the second a person says that, I know they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, honestly, they have no idea what they're talking about because it just sounds ridiculous. They can change. They just have to make up their mind they're going to be a good person. What in the hell are you talking about? You got a lot of research to do. A lot. And I told somebody tonight who said, it's not people are funny because they write in capital letters like that's supposed to emphasize their point. It's not a disorder. It's not a personality disorder. They've got control over that and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. I said, it is a personality disorder according to the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. DSM. It states in there that narcissism is called NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Okay? So you're sitting here talking about it's not a disorder. There's so much misinformation floating around, and it just irks me because Your lack of knowledge could not be more obvious. Just by that one statement alone, I know you have no idea what you are talking about. And unfortunately, people like myself who have dealt with not only narcissism in so called relationships, which are actually manipulationships, we also have on the job training from our parents, a lot of us. Our parents are, narcissists or psychopaths or sociopaths in addition to narcissists. And we didn't know what was going on when we were kids. We just knew that that's the way they were. We don't, because we're kids, we don't know. And even when we become young adults, we still don't know unless we actually do research, take the time to do research. Because you could sit here all day and twice on Sunday and say things like, and I used to say this too, and I was wrong. Narcissism is when you're in love with yourself. You just think you're all that. Yes, that is true, but there is so much more to it than that. That is only one grain of sand on a beach. Okay. There's so much more to it than that. They are destructive. They are cold-blooded. They are stingy. They are liars. They are cheaters. They are manipulators. They are detached from you. You could get hit by a car right in front of them and they would just stand there and look at you. You're screaming in pain and they would just stand there and look at you and have no response. So you would have to depend on a total stranger to call 911 who drove by and witnessed you get hit by the car, because the person that you're with doesn't give a shit and they're going to pretend they're not even there. They're going to just stand there and look at you with no anything, no response. Or they'll do the opposite. They'll go way over the top because there's witnesses and they need the witnesses to go, oh, and her boyfriend was so sweet. He rushed over there to help her. And that's just an amazing guy right there. So they'll do one or the other. They'll stand there with their thumb up their ass doing absolutely nothing, just looking at you, screaming in agony. Or they'll bum rush you to go above and beyond so that everybody goes, oh my God, that was just amazing what that person did. Wow, she's so lucky to have a guy like him, or he's so lucky to have a girl like her. And it's just bullshit. You all got snowed over because that's all a lie. It's all pretense. But yeah, there's so many lies being told. Everybody's got narcissism. No, the fuck they don't. Where the hell did you get that from? And I told somebody that tonight. I said, whoever started that lie is probably a narcissist. They're trying to justify being a narcissist by saying, well, everybody's got that. No, the fuck they don't. Not everybody is a liar, a cheat, sadistic, mean, vicious-tempered, likes to damage your property because you broke up with them, so they're going to flatten all your tires, okay? Or destroy your house, set your house on fire, set you on fire, which is going more towards malignant narcissism and anti-personal, whatever the freak it is. It used to be called psychopathy. It's, I can't think of it right now. My brain's my brain's slowing down because I'm super tired. But anyway, so for the purpose of conversation, we'll call it psychopathy. Not everybody does that. Not everybody is cold-blooded. Not everybody sees you get hurt and just stands there like a zombie. That's just weird. And to say that everybody has those tendencies, you're basically saying that everybody is a liar, everybody's a cheat, nobody can be trusted, nobody has empathy, and we all know that that's a cockamamie bullshit lie. Triple layers of lies. Some people are empaths, and that is a weapon that's used against us because people will see the empathy and think, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to play this person like a piano. Oh, this is going to be fun. And if you don't want to you start developing boundaries, which you need to have boundaries from the start. You start developing boundaries, they'll make you feel guilty. I did this for you. I did that for you. I asked you for one little thing and you can't do it. That's manipulation. They're trying to guilt you into doing their bidding because you not wanting to do it is a problem for them. You want to turn off a potential narcissist? Tell them you can't do it. Even something simple like let's do lunch Friday. I can't do it this Friday because I have a meeting and I don't know how long that meeting's going to be for. Or whatever your reasoning is. If they harp on you and harp on you and harp on you, they don't give a shit that you can't do it. They're trying to force you to do it their way. And you need to stand your ground and say, I can't do it Friday. Like I said, I can't do it Friday. That's not going to work for me. So a healthy person will say, well, what about Saturday? Or what about Sunday? Why don't we do brunch Sunday? Or whatever the case may be. But they're not going to beat you over the head verbally until you give in. That is a manipulator. Okay? So don't listen to the common verbiage. People have no idea what in the freaking hell they're talking about. They have absolutely no clue. Everybody's got traces of narcissism. No, they don't. No, they don't. You're trying to justify being a god dang narcissist. That's why you're saying that stupid shit. It makes no sense. Everybody doesn't have all of one thing. We're all unique. Now, there's a lot of narcissists running around, but that doesn't mean everybody is a narcissist. That is ridiculosity, and it's not true. Okay? It's not true. It's just simply not true. It's a cop-out. Anybody who says that, it just using that as a get-out-of-jail-free card. If I just convince people that we all act like this, then I don't have to take accountability because everybody would have to take accountability. Just like, God bless her soul, but my grandma refusing to acknowledge the shit that I went through growing up. She witnessed it with her own eyes. And you know what thing? One thing about your eyeballs, they don't lie. They know what the hell they saw. You know what you saw. She witnessed me being abused and lied to herself and told herself that that never happened. Sorry about that. Phone's doing weird shit. She basically convinced herself that I wasn't abused. Oh, you were never abused. She witnessed it with her own eyes. Come on. But if a person convinces themselves that it never happened, they don't have to do anything about it. And they don't have to feel guilty that they didn't do anything about it. Because they just keep saying, you know, like if it's sunny outside, I could tell you it's cloudy. I could tell you in 4 languages, in Italian and French, German, I could tell you it's cloudy even when the sun is out. It don't matter how many times I say it, that ain't going to change the fact that that's not true. If that's not true. I could tell you it's downpour raining. It's raining so hard, and you look out the window and the sun is out. I could tell you 150 different ways that no, it's a downpour. That doesn't make it true now, does it? No, because your eyeballs see that the sun is glaring, shining bright. So it really doesn't matter what someone else tells you and how many times they freaking tell you. That's called gaslighting. Trying to tell you that your reality is not real. I mean, come on, knock it off. And it's so disrespectful to the person who is on the receiving end of the abuse. It's so disrespectful. Somebody could get roofied and assaulted, and other people could justify it by saying, well, I never saw that happen. Well, no shit. No one's going to do that in front of an audience. Usually, they're not going to do it in front of an audience, assault somebody. I want a bunch of witnesses, so when the cops get called, everybody can point fingers at me because they saw what I did. That's not how it works. Let's get realistic. Let's get freaking realistic, shall we? So, yeah. It's just silly. People think that if they don't acknowledge something or if they spread lies about it, that they were told, no, this is how it really is. Then they start spreading that lie, and then they convince somebody else who spreads the same lie. And before you know it, everybody thinks the same thing, and everybody's dead wrong. Everybody's dead wrong. There's so many misconceptions floating. And there's no excuse, floating out there. There's no excuse for it because all you have to do is research. Research is at the tip of your fingertips. You don't have to do like you'd have to do back in the day before cell phones came about. You don't have to take a shower, get dressed, go out, leave your home, go trudge into the library, ask the person, I'm doing research on that. Where could I get started? And you got to go to, there's something called a microfiche. You'd have to use that. You'd have to also go into these metal cabinets and pull them out and go through alphabetical order and look for what you're looking for and pull we don't have to do that shit anymore. There's no excuse for you not to know about anything. Anything. It's easily accessible at the tip of your fingers. And if you don't know, it's because you don't want to know. Mm, mm. If you don't know, it's because you don't want to know. I could learn all about bees. It's all at the tip of my fingertip. What is the purpose of bees? How many different species of bees are there? What is the purpose of the queen? What is her job? What are the names of the bees that cater to the queen? What are they called? I could learn all that. I could be almost not an expert, but I could know a whole lot about bees just by researching. So if you don't know, it's because you don't want to know. You want to stay in this protected little bubble that's, cushioned and insulated against bad things and just stay in a fantasy world where glitter is everywhere and it's never a rainy day. And it's just stupid. You can learn anything you want to learn. And if you're scared to learn, I get that. But there's no excuse not to know. And you better know, because if you don't know and you want to continue going through life not knowing, you will be an easy target when a person like that finds you. And because there's so many toxic ass people running around, Lord knows, toxic ass people running around, if you don't educate yourself, you're going to be next. So don't be naive and don't be living in a bubble, because you will make yourself an easy target. You will have a T on your forehead for target. Y'all take care. Much love. Bye.